Kerrigan Dunn from the corner, splash! Kerrigan Dunn up to 5 points, and she really has made a splash coming off the bench in this game. 29-22, FAU leads. Hubbard spins away from Dunn, kicks to the left-hand corner, gets it back, 3 on the way from straight on, and the rebound comes to Edwards. Chanel Wilson, a team-high 9 points for BCU. FAU defender falls down. Jordan takes it herself, misses, and it's going to be FAU ball. Off the rebound, we'll head to a media timeout. 4:37 left to go in the first half of play. BCU trails the Owls 29-22. This is BCU basketball on the Cat Eye Network. Make sure you are representing Bethune-Cookman University athletics to the fullest. Buy the latest BCU gear online to the Bethune-Cookman online store. Go to bcuathletics.com, then click on shop to find the newest BCU clothing and apparel. That's bcuathletics.com and click on shop. There is a surprising depth of history between these two schools, but it is a history that FAU has dominated. The Owls lead the Wildcats 21-5 all time and have a 7-4 record against the Wildcats in this building. Last time these teams played was about a year ago today exactly, as FAU won 85-65 down in Miami. The Owls start with the ball. Underneath it goes, and it cycles around. Wide open for 3 was Hubbard. And on the rebound, it'll be BCU ball as it was last touched by Dylan Hanna. Nobody in double figures yet, although Chanel Wilson is the closest with 9. Dylan Hanna leads FAU with 8. Now the Owls come with a little bit of full court press. Edwards gets the ball. Dribbles past Hubbard into the front court, goes all the way home, finds Clark underneath, and a jump ball is called as Hubbard held up Clark just long enough before she could get that ball up. The possession arrow is with the Wildcats, though. Last time BCU did a baseline out, they found Clark. This time they spread it out a little bit more. Chanel Wilson, the gunner. Wilson gets a 5-second violation called on her, and it's another turnover. Bethune-Cookman has turned the ball over 7 times to Florida Atlantic's 4. And something we harped on, or I harped on, I guess, all season last year is BCU's got to, if not win the turnover battle, at least stay close. You're going to have that equal number of possessions, and Dylan Hanna just forces her way to the free throw line past Clark. That'll be Kayla Clark's first foul. It is good to see Kayla Clark on the floor. She did not play against Edward Waters in their tune-up game and did not play against Florida State. He's the only player on the BCU roster not to play in either of those games. Don't know if that's an injury concern or an illness concern or what, but it is good to see her out there, as she was my player of the season last year for BCU, especially in SWAC play as a freshman, being 6'3", being able to dominate on the glass like that. She has a large upside in her remaining couple of years of college. Nice move by Edwards to get free. Gets to the baseline, tries to find Clark again. Kick out. Wilson drives, gets to the lane, way too strong on the layup. Another offensive rebound. Edwards, and one as she was falling away. That is impressive body control for the freshman from Dallastown, Pennsylvania. She was basically parallel to the floor as she put up that shot, and somehow it banked off the glass and in. Edwards misses on her free throw. Did not get to the line against FSU. Only had 4 points in that contest. Quick three fired away by Rosenthal. Offensive rebound, but they couldn't get the ball to Hannah. Hand off Wilson, looking to push the pace. Almost thought she was going to spot up from three there as nobody guarded her in transition. Wilson will play it slow and run the offense against Hubbard. She's just going to spot up. She hit one from that exact same point earlier. Offensive rebound, Nia Jordan, and will reset. The rebounding is actually very close. It's 18-17 in total rebounds, with FAU holding a slim advantage. Clark underneath, gets to the hoop and lays it in for her first points of the season. Look forward to seeing a lot of that this year if you're a BCU fan. Just finding number 25 in the post. Hubbard behind her head to, oh my goodness, behind her head to Hannah. Gathers her own miss and puts it in. Timeout, Bethune-Cookman. And the Wildcats are struggling to contain the dynamite freshman out of Bartram Trail in St. Augustine. The former All-First Coast first team and the 2022 Northeast Florida All-Star Classic Game MVP. Couple of players we have yet to see for Bethune-Cookman tonight. We've yet to see Taisha Dashis, although she only played limited minutes at FSU, grabbed one rebound. We haven't seen Yamani McCulloch, the 1,000-point scorer in high school out of Stratford, Connecticut, missed her entire freshman year due to injury. And she scored 1 point against FSU. And we have yet to see Daimani Dorsey, the freshman from Baltimore, Maryland, although she did not play against Florida State, so perhaps there is an injury concern for her. There is one player on the BCU bench with a hoodie on and not a jersey. It is Yamani McCulloch. Doesn't mean she won't play. Just means she's not, hasn't been in the game yet. Chanel Wilson. Clark up top, gets it back to Wilson. A little bit of an awkward touch pass. Beecham back on the floor after a little bit of time on the bench. She fires from a long 2-point range. Races to save it from going out of bounds and cannot do so. Joya Maddox checks back in, replacing Alexa Zaff. And FAU's game plan has not been to go to their top scorer from last year, native of Jupiter, Florida, as she has yet to score in the ball game. Excuse me, she has 2 points in the ball game. They've mostly been looking to exploit their height advantage underneath, as up and under goes Sofía Galerón, her 4th point of the game. 34-26, the FAU lead. Wilson tried to rifle it underneath the Clark, and Beecham got a favorable bounce. Edwards tried to go off the glass, left it short, and the rebound comes to Hubbard. Hubbard in transition, finds Scott. Scott put it on the floor. FAU was lucky to get it back. Wide open for three off the scramble is Galerón, and the Spanish youth national team player is up to 7 points, and she didn't even start the game. Once again, FAU pushes the lead back to 9, 37-26. Foul called on Devin Scott, native of Montgomery, New York. And now we shall see Camera Langston, who is the other player who has not played yet today for BCU. She wears number 24 and replaces Nia Jordan. Langston, a freshman from Chicago, Illinois, a four-time Illinois state champion at Westlake High School in Atlanta. And BCU in the bonus, so Morgan Beecham is at the line. BCU scoreless the last minute and 53 seconds and just 1 for 4 of their last 5 from the floor. 10-point lead, 37-27, 60 ticks left in the opening half. It's been dominated at times by FAU. BCU trying to hang tough. Splitting a double team and getting a shot blocked by Clark is Joya Maddox. Wilson, she's hit 2 threes. On the baseline, a traveling violation against Langston, who just checked into the game. Camera Langston, a 2021 Geico High School National Champion with Westlake High School, and is high school teammates with Raven Wilson, who had just won the NCAA title last season with South Carolina. Another kick out for a wide open 3. Swish, it is good. FAU shooting over 50% from three-point range in the first half, and they have pushed the lead to 40-27. Remember, in last season's matchup between these two teams, FAU scored 85 points. Wilson with 5 seconds on the play clock. She will be fouled. And they'll call a hand check on FAU. So the half will end at the line for Chanel Wilson. It's been not the best shooting night from the charity stripe for the Wildcats. They are 3 of 7 from the line. FAU 4 of 9, from three-point range. 44% is very high. And the BCU defense adjusted to the early FAU barrage. They were going out underneath. They were finding Dylan Hanna underneath. They were finding Joya Maddox, and Anaya Hubbard was crashing the basket. 3 seconds left to go. It's going to be a 3 in transition. It's going to be no good, and that will be how the first half ends. It's an 11-point lead for the Florida Atlantic Owls, who beat BCU for one of only their 5 wins last year. They are set to do it again. It'll be a Herculean task awaiting the Wildcats in the second half. Here are your scoring totals for half number 1. For Bethune-Cookman, Chanel Wilson is tied for the lead in all scores with 11. Nia Jordan has 6. Kerrigan Dunn has 5. Deshante Edwards, Omariah Tucker, and Kayla Clark all have 2. Morgan Beecham just 1. And for FAU, Dylan Hanna has 11. Sofía Galerón has 10, including 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. She is 100% from the floor as well. Joya Maddox has 7. Rosenthal, has 7. Hubbard has 3. And Zaff has 2. We've hit the halftime interval here at Moore Gymnasium. We'll take about a 13-minute break and be back for the second half. Once again, your score at the break: FAU 40, BCU 29. This is Bethune-Cookman University basketball on the Cat Eye Network. Welcome back to Bethune-Cookman University's Richard B. Moore Gymnasium here on the campus of BCU. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company as we get set to start the second half between the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and the Florida Atlantic Owls. The Owls have a 40-29 lead over BCU using a strong second quarter in which they scored 25 points to take a big 11-point lead into the halftime break. BCU started well. They were only down by 2 at the end of the first quarter, but the three-point shooting for the Owls took off in the second quarter. They are 50% from beyond the arc, shooting 44% from beyond the arc, shooting 4 of 9, and that is the major difference in the ball game. Stay up to date with everything going on at Bethune-Cookman Athletics. Go to bcuathletics.com for schedules, stories, and all the latest information on Bethune-Cookman University sports. Bookmark it and tell your friends. It's www.bcuathletics.com. In the first quarter, FAU really just tried to attack the basket with Dylan Hanna, their 6'2 freshman center from St. Augustine and Bartram Trail High School. And that was effective, but BCU started doubling in the middle. They brought Kayla Clark in, their 6'3 sophomore, that shut down the middle to a certain extent. And then the FAU changed their offensive style in the second quarter. They drove, but instead of looking all the way to the basket most of the time, they were looking for kickouts. And because BCU had committed that extra player to the paint to guard against the easy layup, they were getting beat on the outside and surrendered 4 three-pointers in that second quarter. The most impressively to the Spaniard, Sofía Galerón, who has represented Spain at the 2015 Under-16 Euros and 2016 Under-17 World Championships, and also the senior national team in 3x3 basketball at the Euros and World Championships. So she has seen a lot of the world through her basketball career, and she's putting on a clinic right now in Moore Gymnasium, although Dylan Hanna, as I previously mentioned, their center, leads the team in scoring. Chanel Wilson, the electric guard for BCU that transferred in from Indiana, leads the Cats in scoring. She has 11 points. Here we go. 40-29, FAU starts with the lead and the ball. Out on top, it is Rosenthal. Cross-court pass, quick three. Under the basket it goes. It is out of bounds, BCU ball. And I don't blame Yanetta Rosenthal one bit for taking that quick three. It was what was working for the Owls late in that first half. Here is Chanel Wilson wearing double deuces. Trying to set up the screen for Nia Jordan, and Jordan has the first points of the second half as the lead is cut to 9. This game is not over by any stretch of the imagination. But a lot of times last year we saw BCU. Oh, that's a nice spin move by Alexa Zaff, the top scorer for FAU last year, who is returning. Puts in the first bucket for the Owls this year. Averaged 10.2 points a game for FAU a season ago did Zaff. Nice behind-the-back dribble for the top scorer for BCU last year, Morgan Beecham, as she will go to the free throw line. But to close my point from a minute ago, BCU's last year were in a lot of games early. They never really got blown out in the first half, and the second half didn't really matter. In the second half and the rare occasions where they took games to overtime, it was tough for the Wildcats to close games. And that is one of the things that we hope that the new additions to this team, both the transfers and the freshmen, will address. The roster is definitely deeper than it was last year. As Beecham hits them both, she's up to 3 points. It's been a slow start to the season for Morgan Beecham. She averaged 10.2 points last year to lead the team, as a layup is good for Jada Moore, transfer from Kansas State. And it's back to an 11-point advantage for FAU. Beecham draws a double team into the corner. Wilson, she tries to drive inside, off the back of the iron and no good. Long pass ahead, in traffic, and a travel called against Rosenthal. The Latvian transfer from South Florida is a lot to handle, both in the front and back court. She can guard positions 1 through 5. She's got a lot of length on her 6-foot frame. Beecham, stop and pop in the middle. Nothing doing there, and Rosenthal boxing out allows Devin Scott to grab the miss. Small lineup on the floor right now for Bethune-Cookman with Kayla Clark on the bench. Floater no good. Offensive rebound goes through the legs of Joya Maddox and somehow retained by FAU. Under the basket, Rosenthal gets her arm hacked, and she will go to the line. That's going to be called on Omariah Tucker, who led the team in scoring against Florida State with 11 points. But Tucker, just 2 tonight, as most of the scoring has come from Nia Jordan and Chanel Wilson. As Kayla Clark checks back in and Omariah Tucker goes out. Tucker was the 5th-ranked player in her high school class in Georgia and an All-American honorable mention at the junior college level at Georgia Highlands. Averaged 13.1 points and 9.3 rebounds, and was the GCAA All-Region and All-Tournament team MVP. She also played at McCutcheon High School in Georgia, the 2nd player on this team to do so. Beecham tries to take the game into her own hands, and she does. She draws the contact from Sofía Galerón, and she'll head to the line for the 2nd time in as many minutes. But BCU cold from the floor to end the first half, cold from the floor to start the second. Just 1 of their last 5 has gone down from open play, as Galerón departs, and she is replaced by the top scorer in the ballgame, Dylan Hanna. Beecham, as I mentioned, led the team last year with 10.2 points a game. SWAC Player of the Week one time, and also was top 5 in blocks in the SWAC last year with 21 total blocks, and that's incredible for someone who's only 5'6". Kayla Clark not on the floor for very long. I don't know for sure, but it seems to me that Clark is nursing an injury or some sort of lingering condition, as Edwards jumps in front of the pass and gets a turnover. Ball fake, and Beecham takes it herself and gets to the rack. And another turnover off the inbounds pass. Edwards underneath, the long arms of Rosenthal block it, and now it's 3-on-1 the other way, and an easy lay-in for Jada Moore. As FAU stops that in its tracks, BCU could have lowered the gap to just 6 with back-to-back steals, but a nice block underneath by Rosenthal denied it. But the gap is back to 11. 48-37. Cycles around to Chanel Wilson. Bounce pass to the baseline. And another block. Oh no, it's a foul, as Nia Jordan tried to put up a baseline jumper. So the Wildcats are getting to the line more and more. In the first half, they only attempted 11 free throws. And Nia Jordan puts that one up and in. Oh no, they only attempted 9 free throws, excuse me, as my numbers refresh. I'm watching down below as the men's basketball team enters for their matchup against Florida National. I see Dylan Robertson down there. I saw Joe French earlier enter the building. We'll see the men's basketball team at 7 o'clock right here on the Cat Eye Network. 10-point gap for the Wildcats after an offensive rebound was batted out of bounds by FAU off the missed free throw. Where does Wilson go with the ball? She's already been called for a 5-second violation. She throws the ball all the way into the backcourt. It's picked up by Hannah. She lost the handle. Moore grabs it, finds the runner in transition. It's Rosenthal, and now Scott stutter steps. The BCU bench wants a travel, and now they will get a foul as Joya Maddox falls to the ground. And that was a wild sequence. They're going to get Kerrigan Dunn for the foul. And inbounding the ball from the baseline has been a struggle for BCU. The one time they did get it in successfully to Kayla Clark, it was a bit awkward as they lobbed it over the top. And the other 2 times it's been a 5-second violation and a turnover that you just saw right there. As Nia Jordan gets a talking to by Coach Creighton as she heads to the bench. Sideline in for FAU. And that is tipped off the inbounds pass, but they're going to call a foul against Bethune-Cookman on a push-off, and Coach Creighton is hot. They call the foul on Deshante Edwards as she was locking arms with Jada Moore. This time the ball does get in successfully to Scott. Scott against Wilson. The long arms of Rosenthal back out and find Moore. And a traveling violation against Jada Moore. A long possession for FAU as they got 2 inbounds and almost a full shot clock, but no points for the Owls. They still lead by 10, 48-38. 6:12 to go, third quarter. Not a lot of stoppages in this game. Not a lot of fouls in the first half. Oh, behind the back. That was pretty, but it's swatted away by Dylan Hannah. Or excuse me, by, Dylan Hannah. Moore wide open in transition as Beecham got back. And an offensive foul is going to be called, a push-off against Moore. The referees are being a lot more tighter, with their whistles here in this second half. The gap still remains 10 under 6 minutes to go, third quarter. BCU 1 for 5 from the floor. Beecham in the corner. Thought she was about to take that 3. She rolls to the middle. Free throw line jumper is good. And a nice crowd has rolled in to watch the Wildcats. And they got a twin bill tonight. Remember the men's team coming up at 7 o'clock against Florida National. Moore in the corner for 3. Missed everything, and the ball belongs to FAU as they say it's last touch by Kayla Clark. Kayla Clark doesn't believe it. Neither does Janelle Creighton. But the referees are not going to reverse their decision. Morgan Beecham had only 2 points in the first half. She's up to 9. And the hole up here for FAU. And the ball goes in, whistle, and I think they called 5 seconds. They did. 5 seconds against Devin Scott. Now both teams have gotten a 5-second violation called for them on a baseline inbound. And BCU is lucky that call went because Anaya Hubbard was wide open underneath for a layup. 8-point gap, 48-40. BCU has hung tough in this third quarter after being down by 11 at half. Edwards, kick out. Chanel Wilson, no. Missed a 3-pointer long from the elbow. Moore to Scott. One-on-one with Beecham up top. Here's Rosenthal. And now Hubbard. Hubbard underneath, kick out 3 from Scott is no good, back iron. Chanel Wilson falls to the ground, and the ball is not kept in play by BCU. It'll be BCU ball, I believe. As we head to a media timeout. BCU hanging tough. They're down by 8, 48-40. The Owls have the lead. Not a lot of offense in this third quarter so far. The annual Florida Classic is this Saturday, and tickets are now on sale. Don't miss out on the biggest HBCU football game in the country. Head on over to Ticketmaster.com to secure your tickets today. For more information, stay tuned to FloridaClassic.org and BCUathletics.com. Look at the numbers really quickly. FAU is scoreless from their last 144. BCU is 1 for their last 4 from the floor. Morgan Beecham, the standout player in this second half for the Wildcats, as she has 7 points to lead all scorers in the second half. Dylan Hanna, with 1 bucket in the quarter, is up to a game-high 13. We've seen Deshante Edwards play a lot tonight, the freshman from Dallastown, Pennsylvania. That's Bethune-Cookman's number 1. She was her high school's MVP player all 4 years at Dallastown Area High School, and they won back-to-back county championships and had 4 state tournament appearances. The interesting thing with Edwards was her junior year, she tore her ACL and was super concerned that she would not be recruited, because junior year is a crucial time for recruits as they really get serious interest from college teams around that time. But she stayed the course. She came back for her senior year, played well, 14 points and 6 rebounds that season, and was recruited by Coach Janelle Creighton to come play at Bethune-Cookman University, and she's done a pretty good job. 2 points tonight, 4 points last week against FAU, but leads the team with 5 rebounds, so aggressive on the glass. I've also liked what I've seen from Carrigan Dunn, the transfer from Kilgore College. Led the team with 8 rebounds against FAU. Only has 1 rebound tonight, but it was an offensive rebound and a putback for 2 points midway through the first quarter. I was incorrect before the timeout that it was BCU ball. It is FAU ball, as Kayla Clark denies that shot from Rosenthal, but Beecham couldn't keep the ball in. It'll be Owls ball again on the baseline. Both teams have struggled with baseline inbounds tonight. Scott this time gets it into Zaff. Her floater from the baseline is no good. And it's just, and a travel underneath is called against Rosenthal, but there is a definite length advantage for Florida Atlantic. It is basically just Kayla Clark against a mountain of tall players underneath for BCU, Rosenthal and Hanna specifically. Wilson trying to float the ball to Beecham. She eventually gets it there. Beecham has the hot hand of the moment. Edwards in transition. In the corner, it's Carrigan Dunn. 8 to shoot for Wilson. Wilson behind the back, step back. This will be a long 2, front iron no good. Clark battles for the rebound, but it's grabbed by Dylan Hanna. Scott quickly up the floor, blows by Wilson, gets to the paint, and will go to the free throw line. Speed kills in any sport you can imagine, but in basketball, if you get that little half step on your opposite number, you can carry that speed all the way to the rack, and that's what Devin Scott did right there. Scott, a transfer from Farley Dickinson, and scored 602 career points at Gill St. Bernard High School in Montgomery, New York. She was an all-NEC rookie team selection her freshman year at Farley Dickinson. And she heads to the line for her first time tonight. Still has not scored. That one hangs on the rim and does not fall. Mariah Tucker has the ball, trapped in the corner, gets it to Wilson. Haven't seen a lot of O'Mariah Tucker tonight. The top scorer for BCU in their opener against Florida State only has 2 points on 1 of 1 shooting. Wilson uses her shoulder to get space, and the bank is open for Chanel Wilson as she's up to 13 points. BCU not going away, down 42-49, 20-25, and counting to go in the third quarter. The ball is rifled around by FAU, looking for a shooting opportunity. It's Rosenthal on the baseline, kick out Scott. Thought she might take a three, dribbles into a double team, spins away, and misses off to the left, and a nice box out is called against Kayla Clark, and then a foul is going to be a go against Dylan Hanna. And BCU is in the bonus, so they will come down here and shoot free throws. Kayla Clark last season led the team in rebounds, scored in double figures 8 times, and had double figure rebounds 13 times. 6 of those games double doubles. And she was a standout at Miami Central High School. She makes 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Scott hands off to Zaff. We have not yet to see the best of Alexa Zaff tonight, and that is potentially scary for Bethune-Cookman. Scott with 15 on the clock, throws it all the way across to Hubbard. Hubbard one-on-one with Edwards, goes to the lane, doesn't get the roll, but will go to the line as the double team came from Clark from the back end. BCU currently on a 6-1 run over the last 3:31 as FAU has been frustrated offensively. They haven't had that kick out, inside out three going in this second half that was so deadly in this second quarter. Anaya Hubbard, a McDonald's All-America game nominee at Hoover High School in Hoover, Alabama. For a three-time state champion with the Lady Bucks. Nia Jordan checks back in. The transfer from Buffalo has been impressive tonight. She's got 9 points, tied with Beecham for second on the team in scoring. And is tied with Wilson for the most field goals. She's 4 of 6, actually has the best shooting percentage of anybody on the BCU roster tonight, is Nia Jordan. Here's the top scorer, Chanel Wilson, behind the back pass to Jordan. Thought she might take a three, but will step out. Contested jump shot from the elbow, no good. That's the long arms of Rosenthal contesting. Zaff in the front court, hands back to Maddox. Maddox with a size advantage against Beecham, uses the screen for a pick and pop. Long rebound comes out to Beecham. 8 points the deficit for BCU with 2:11 to go in the third quarter. Beecham, baseline to Clark. Clark puts it on the floor, goes 1v1 against Hanna, can't get it to go. BCU all of a sudden cold. Again, 1 for their last 5 when they were on a 6-1 run just a few minutes ago. And FAU a chance to stem this tide. Oh, a brilliant block underneath from Nia Jordan, and then they throw the ball away. Chanel Wilson was not expecting the pass. Baseline jumper from Scott is good, so FAU turns almost disaster into points, and they have restored their 10-point advantage with 1:34 to go in the quarter. We'll take 30 seconds and be right back. This is BCU Women's Basketball on the Cat Eye Network. Florida Atlantic has a 10-point lead, 53-43 over the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, and looking to just win their second road game under head coach Jennifer Sullivan, who's in her second season with the Owls, a former 4-year letter winner at Memphis, graduated in 2005. This is her first head coaching job. She was an assistant coach at Rhodes in Nashville and also at McNeese State, Arkansas State, Louisiana, Missouri State, Ohio State, and Tennessee. She knows how to recruit, though, has been the primary recruiter at almost everywhere she has been, and hoping to turn this program around. The Owls went just 5-25 a season ago, playing in Conference USA. Here is Chanel Wilson, one-on-one against Hubbard. Looks for a screen from Clark, dribbles it off her foot and collects. 9 to shoot as Hubbard takes a tumble. Tucker underneath, foul called. And I think it'll be before the shot. Oh no, it doesn't matter because we're still in the third quarter and BCU has the bonus. So Omariah Tucker will head to the free throw line. This is her first trip to the charity stripe tonight. Only 2 points for Tucker, which is surprising. 1 for 1 from the floor, so she's only taken one shot, has gone to a more quiet role tonight as she hits her first free throw. And maybe kept in check because she has 3 fouls. Most of anybody in the game. Nobody else has got more than 2. But she could be crucial down the stretch as the gap is down to 8. Edwards back in for BCU, replacing Jordan. Wildcats bring a little bit of full court press off the inbounds, but they will back away after the ball is inbounded successfully. Here is Scott. Devin Scott cutting pass to Maddox off the window and too strong. The ball kicks out of bounds, and it will be BCU ball. That looked like it came off the knee of Joya Maddox. Maddox, the other Hoover High School graduate on this team, her and Anaya Hubbard. Although they did not play at Hoover at the same time. Maddox, a redshirt junior, Hubbard, a freshman. Kayla White now on the floor after an extended period on the bench. What can she do? Gets to the baseline and has her pass volleyball spiked out of bounds by Yanetta Rosenthal. Rosenthal has really impressed me tonight. Edwards off to Wilson. White, elbow jumper, missed everything, and it's FAU ball. Rosenthal, I mentioned, played U16, U18, and U17 ball for Latvia. And led the team in rebounding last season. Here's a steal for BCU, and oh boy! Joya Maddox flew back to block that shot and then crashed with Kayla White into the padding on the end boards. Something that Janelle Creighton wants a foul as Kayla White, obviously shaken up, heads to the bench. And she is still working the near side official here as it'll be BCU inbound on the baseline. Clark gets it to Edwards, and BCU begins their play. And hopefully Kayla White is okay because she played a pretty big role last year. Shot 37.4% from the field and averaged 7.8 points. The ball hangs on the rim. Kayla Clark gets the offensive rebound, but the time runs dry on the end of the third quarter. It's an 8-point lead for FAU. Bethune-Cookman won the third quarter, 16-13, and they have inched closer in terms of being competitive in this matchup. When we come back, it's the final frame for more Gymnasium And the Owls and the Wildcats are continuing to do battle. This is Bethune-Cookman Women's Basketball on the Cat Eye Network. We get ready to start the fourth quarter here at Moore Gymnasium. Thank you for spending your Monday evening with us here on the Cat Eye Network. My name is Michael Girillo. Remember, the men's game is coming up at 7 p.m. as they take on the Conquistadors of Florida National. We'll have that one for you right here on the Cat Eye Network as well. The Wildcats hanging tough with the Florida Atlantic Owls. It is an 8-point deficit, 53-45. As they kept the hot shooting of the Owls in check in that third quarter. But not a lot of offensive production for either team. Chanel Wilson off the glass, fighting for the rebound is Clark. She gets it, away out on top. Driving the lane, right-hand layup attempt by Kerrigan Dunn is no good. And FAU a chance to be the first off the mark in the fourth quarter. Ajalon Gilliard is in the game for the first time for FAU. She wears number 10. Moore, three-pointer on the way and good. The Owls didn't hit a three in the third quarter, but they get one to open up the fourth. They are now 5 of 14 from beyond the arc. BCU just 2 of 6 from long range. Edwards draws the contact and the foul against Ajalon Gilliard, a freshman from Clermont, Florida. Played high school basketball at Foundation Academy in Orlando, although she was homeschooled. She was the District 11 3A Player of the Year her senior year of high school, and a 3-time district champion. The lead has ballooned back to 11, just when you thought BCU maybe had a chance to close the gap, but there's still a lot of game left. 8:40 to go. Wilson tries to play the post game with Clark, and she gets hammered on the wrist by Joya Maddox. That's the one thing that BCU did very well in the third quarter. Despite their size disadvantage in the front court, they went right at FAU and really took it to them and got to the line a lot, as I'm just looking up the numbers in the third quarter. They were 8 of 10 from the free throw line of the third quarter. They're 13 of 19 for the game. Clark hits them both. And it's back to a 10-point, or it should be a 9-point lead. But there's going to have to be some big defensive possessions coming up in the next few minutes for the team wearing white, maroon, and gold. Rosenthal and Moore play a little 1-2 to get the ball in the front court. Scott. Scott to Maddox. Maddox looking for the post up to Dylan Hanna, who's been kept in check in this second half. Kick out three. Oh my goodness. It looked from my angle that was going to go way to the right, and it just kicked off the glass and fell down for Joya Maddox, her second straight three. And a quick timeout taken by Janelle Creighton. It is 59-47. BCU, they were hanging on at the start of the third, and that advantage is slipping away. They're just 1 for 9 from the field, and FAU has made 3 of their last 4 shots as they've taken a 12-point lead. Wildcat Nation, you can catch all BCU home games live on the Cat Eye Network. Be sure to tune in for all the best BCU volleyball, basketball, and more throughout the season. You can catch it live all at youtube.com/Cat Eye Network. And can I say a massive, massive congratulations to head coach Brittany Williams and the volleyball Wildcats as they closed their regular season on a 3-game winning streak. They made the conference tournament. They beat the number 3 ranked team in the conference in Jackson State on Senior Day. And they did it all on the road because of the hurricane. There are 2 games that they were supposed to play here at Moore Gymnasium against Mississippi Valley State and Jackson State. They didn't play. They had to play up in Tallahassee at FAMU. And they just did a bang-up job. And Aaliyah Dallas ending her senior season with over 100 blocks and 6th all-time in that particular team's history. And of course, Coach Williams becoming the all-time wins leader in Bethune-Cookman volleyball history with the win against Mississippi Valley State on Saturday. So they will head to the SWAC tournament next week. Stay tuned to BCU Athletics on Twitter for all the latest in BCU sports, including volleyball and including women's and men's basketball, which I'm so happy the home section of basketball season here at Moore Gymnasium is back. It's my favorite time of year. It's hectic and crazy, but it's always worth it to see these teams on the hardwood. Clark underneath draws a triple team, tried to float it into the paint to Omariah Tucker. And Tucker gets pushed to the ground, so she will draw the contact. Edwards almost threw the ball away. Wilson recovers and travels as she stepped past Jada Moore. Joya Maddox has been huge for Florida Atlantic in this fourth quarter. She's 2 for 2 from 3-point range and has jumped into the scoring lead with 13, matched by Chanel Wilson's 13 from ECU. Here is Hubbard. Baseline drive, kick to the corner, Scott. Floater is good. And FAU has finally broken down the Wildcats' defense, which was so stubborn in the third quarter, and allowed BCU to climb their way back into the game. Beecham to Edwards. BCU's going to have to start taking some threes in short order here. Tucker underneath against Hannah, doesn't get the roll. Edwards grabs the favorable roll off the front of the iron. Here is Beecham for 3. Offensive rebound, but a foul called against Edwards. As Joya Maddox fell to the ground, and once again, Coach Creighton is in the ear of that near side official. .6:46 to go. Long pass into the front court. Racing after it is Sofía Galerón. She will not get there. And BCU takes advantage of the 12th Florida Atlantic turnover. Both teams, BCU actually winning the turnover battle, 11-12 now. but have not been able to take advantage of those extra possessions. Here's Deshante Edwards. No way through into the paint, and she gets it swatted away by Dylan Hanna. Now Hanna runs the floor with Hubbard. Euro step in the lane, bucket and the foul for the freshman Anaya Hubbard. And that may be the defining moment of the fourth quarter where FAU finally puts it away as they lead 63-47 with an extra shot coming. Deshante Edwards checks out. Cariana Woods checks back in. Woods has only played 3 minutes tonight. The freshman from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Won the state title with Ann Arbor Prep in 2022, just this past spring. 64-47 the score, FAU out on top. Chanel Wilson floats it to Clark and then gets it back with speed. Up and under, plus one. They're going to get Dylan Hanna for the foul. I could read her lips from up here. She said, I didn't touch her. But the whistle blew, and it's going to be a chance for a three-point play for Chanel Wilson, who is back to leading the game in scoring with 15 points. But she is the only Wildcat in double figures. Nia Jordan and Morgan Beecham both have 9. That is a precipitous drop-off. Clark and Dunn have 5. Tucker has 4, and Edwards has 2. That's the scoring for Bethune-Cookman. The three-point play is converted by Chanel Wilson. I'll tell you what, Chanel Wilson is going to be big for this Bethune-Cookman team come conference play. In transition, Hubbard, good. I'll tell you what, FAU, you've got yourselves a dynamite freshman in Anaya Hubbard. She's up to 8 points on the night. Here's a three. Foul called as it looked like Beecham's foot got stepped on as she followed through. And she will head to the line for 3 shots. Beecham, one of only 5 returning players this season for the Wildcats, joining Kayla White, Taisha Dashus, Yamani McCulloch, and Kayla Clark. Beecham 5 for 6 from the free throw line tonight. That's tied for the best in the game. As she hits the first one, and now she does move into first place, the best of the game for the charity stripe, and she's up to 10 points. So double figures for the first time this season for the senior from Orlando, Florida. We are expecting big things from Morgan Beecham this year. And there was a quote from head coach Janelle Creighton in a preseason interview that I thought was pretty poignant as the ball comes in as BCU tries to trap, and they almost get the turnover. Whistle and a foul called. I think they're going to get BCU for the, oh no, it's going to go the Wildcats' way. They're going to call the foul on Devin Scott. Kayla Clark quickly checks back in. BCU's in the double bonus, so they will go to the line to shoot free throws. So I can continue my point. It's going to be Kerrigan Dunn at the line. But it was said, quote, we have a lot of talent. We have people that can do what we want to do. We just have to get things cohesive. It's fun because right now we have to play each other, and there's a spark of looking forward to playing somebody else. That was a quote by head coach Janelle Creighton in the preseason, talking about all the new faces on this Wildcats team and how they're meshing with the returning players. She also said we were lucky to have a summer and a good preseason that the players have gotten to know each other. And Deshante Edwards has a very jerky free throw motion. She stands at attention and then just comes up quick, uses her upper body and shoulders and just pushes that ball towards the basket. Scott tries to get past White, and they almost turn the ball over, and they do turn the ball over. No, it's a timeout called by FAU. Head coach Jennifer Sullivan got in the referee's ear and called a timeout before Chanel Wilson could intercept the pass. And the Owls will hang on to their 12-point lead with 5:31 to go. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, it's the end of this enthralling matchup between the Wildcats and the Owls here at Moore Gymnasium. Stay right with us. Stay up to date with everything Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give BCU Athletics a like on Facebook and follow the Wildcats on Twitter and Instagram at BCU Athletics. That's BCU_Athletics. And for the latest on specifically BCU women's basketball, follow at BCU WBB on Twitter. Well, it does not get any easier for either of these teams moving forward. Florida Atlantic heads back home. They'll play Miami at the Watsco Center on the 16th in 2 days. There's a block at the point of attack. Joya Maddox couldn't get the ball up there. Now Wilson shovels it underneath. DeShante Edwards gets it blocked by Anaya Hubbard. Both teams trading rejections as we hit the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Hubbard tries to go behind the back. Luckily, the ball dribbles off a foot. She gets it back, and from her knees finds Devin Scott for a three-pointer from the wing. A few lucky breaks have gone the Owls' way this evening. Wilson thought she was going to launch a three, thinks better of it, gets it to Beecham. Beecham drives through and gets it rejected by Rosenthal, but her follow-through clatters Morgan to the ground, and Beecham will head to the line. We're going to see Dylan Hanna check back in, replacing Rosenthal, and the Wildcats, I'm sure, are happy to see the back of number 30 departing to the bench, because she has been the bane of their existence on the defensive end today, although she did just pick up her fourth foul. Nobody else in foul trouble with more than 3. As Beecham wipes up the floor. I mentioned it doesn't get any easier for either of these teams going forward as Florida Atlantic plays Miami in 2 days, and in 4 days, Bethune-Cookman heads to Gainesville to play the Gators of the University of Florida. That's a 6 p.m. tip-off, and then they're back here on the 22nd. A little bit of pre-Thanksgiving meal basketball for you, as they'll take on the Eagles of Georgia Southern. That's another rematch from last season that the Wildcats did not win, so they'll be looking for a little bit of revenge. Scott just buying some time. Hubbard, wing 3, way too strong. Fighting for the rebound and winning it is Wilson. Wilson races all the way to the basket, goes up and under, no good. Tucker tried to get the rebound, and it comes down to Hubbard. Under 4 minutes to go. 14 points. The advantage for FAU, and it's going to be a little bit more because Anaya Hubbard just diced through the BCU defense and scored her 12th point of the evening. Edwards to Cariana Woods, the freshman, and another traveling violation. And Chanel Wilson knew it. She picked up her dribble and immediately stopped. because she knew she traveled. And we will see the more gymnasium debut, I believe, for Yamani McCullough. Although I don't see her out there. I thought I heard the PA announcer here say it. I don't think that's correct. Another long try for FAU. A long rebound comes out to Maddox, and she gets bowled over. We will see Nia Jordan check back in. Jordan, a freshman, technically, but she did redshirt her first year at Buffalo before transferring and then played a year at Labette Community College in Kansas. Scott stops and pops, and it's a wing deuce for Devin Scott, who didn't have a point in the first half, is now up to 10. Beecham between the legs to Kerrigan Dunn. Underneath, fed in! And finally a bucket in the paint for BCU. They have been stopped up by the towering trio of Rosenthal, Maddox, and Hannah for the most part tonight. It's been tough sledding underneath for Bethune-Cookman, and now Zaff back in the game. Here's the hottest hand in the building, and Joya Maddox couldn't get that straight on three to go. Wilson now into the paint again, tries to float it up over Hannah. Can't do it as the 6'2 freshman just completely alters shots, and at the other end, FAU playing with pace up to 75 points. I appreciate what BCU has done in this fourth quarter. They fell behind early, a couple of threes from Maddox. They picked up the pace to try and get back into the game, but it has just allowed FAU more offensive possessions and more chances to score. Here's a three for Chanel Wilson, her second of the game, and only the third in the contest for Bethune-Cookman. Scott quickly up the other end, and FAU are not putting their foot off the gas pedal, but an offensive foul is going to go against Dylan Hannah for an over-the-back call. Bethune-Cookman has scored more points tonight than they did against Florida State a week ago. They only scored 50 points against the Seminoles. And we have seen an excellent performance tonight from Chanel Wilson as she leads all scorers with 19. And I think we should anticipate big things from the front court duo of Wilson and Beecham this season. As I do some quick math in my head, they have combined for 32 of the team's 60 points. Over half of the points tonight for the Wildcats have been scored by either Chanel Wilson or Morgan Beecham. Nia Jordan has added 9 in an impressive Moore Gymnasium debut, and she gets to double figures right there from the charity stripe. But this is a very young Bethune-Cookman Wildcats team, only 2 seniors. Morgan Beecham is one, Taisha Dashis, who we haven't seen tonight, is the other. The ball comes into Rosenthal. FAU trying to play out of the front court, almost a steal from Woods, but Rosenthal does eventually get it underneath. Hannah gets it stripped, but a foul is called underneath the basket. I believe that was Cariana Woods fighting hard for that one, and she is very undersized in that matchup. Hannah 6'2", Woods 5'7". Apart from the 2022 state title with Ann Arbor Prep, Cariana Woods also won 4 district championships and 2 regional titles in her high school career. Dylan Hannah at the free throw line for FAU. The only thing that has struggled for Dylan Hannah tonight is from the charity stripe. She's only 2 for 5 and now 2 for 6, but An offensive rebound is hauled in by Rosenthal. Uh-oh, a little bit of extras afterwards. I thought they were going to call that a jump ball. If a foul was called, I didn't see the referee signal it. Clark checks back in, trying to give the Wildcats a little bit more height. She's been held in check, Kayla Clark, only 5 points and 7 rebounds, although those 7 rebounds do lead the team. Now, I am correct, and it was a jump ball or a held ball as it is in the college game, so it'll stay with FAU as they had the possession arrow. Way out on top to Rosenthal. Here is Alexa Zaff. Zaff only 6 points tonight after scoring 23 against St. Thomas in an exhibition game, and a push in the back called against Kerrigan Dunn. That will send the FAU Owls to the free throw line. 1:20 to go in the contest, and BCU needs 3 points to match their scoring output from last season against the Owls. They lost 85-65. And it's almost looking like it could be the exact same score here as it is 77-62 with 1:19 to go. Kerrigan Dunn quickly into the front court. Kick out Wilson. She just launches from 3, and it's no good, but it comes right back to Dunn on the baseline, and she gets clattered underneath by Dylan Hanna. And another trip to the free throw line for Bethune-Cookman. They have shot 54 free throws this evening, only matched and outdone by Florida Atlantic's 63. Oh, no, excuse me, that's the wrong line. 31 free throws this evening for Bethune-Cookman, only 19 for Florida Atlantic. Because in my head, I was thinking, you know, BCU's been at the line way more, and I saw 63, and I was reading field goal, not free throw. It's still the first game of the season for me, too. Dunn, too strong on the first one, and Kayla Clark backs out. And nobody took her place. Eventually, Mariah Tucker will step in there. Oh, that is cruelty by the rim to deny Kerrigan Dunn, but a deflection on an outbounds pass. Dunn gets it right back and has it go off the underside of the rim, but a foul's going to be called on Yanetta Rosenthal. And Rosenthal is done because that's her 5th foul. Rosenthal replaced by her fellow European, Sofía Galerón. Galerón was excellent in the first half. 3 for 4 from the field, 2 for 3 from three-point range, but has not seen the floor in the second half until now. And it'll be 2 more shots for Kerrigan Dunn. And she misses now 0 for 3 in this sequence from the free throw line for Dunn. Dunn doesn't get it to go, and 0 for 4 on the possession for the charity stripe for Kerrigan Dunn. Scott races past Edwards into the front court, almost had it poked away. She splits a double team and gets tripped up. And FAU will go to the free throw line one more time. Coming up at 7 p.m., in about a half an hour from now, it'll be BCU men's basketball as they take on the Conquistadors of Florida National. Looking for their first win of the season. The men's team 0-2 after tough games against Iowa and Indiana over in the Midwest. But the non-conference home slate for Bethune-Cookman is not done. They have 2 more home games. Should have had 3 more, but a game against Mercer that was supposed to be played this weekend was ultimately canceled due to hurricane. But they have 2 more non-conference home games. They play Georgia Southern here on the 22nd, and then the 1st of December against North Florida. Beecham fires from 3 off the rim, no good. And Zaff takes the miss for FAU. 36 seconds left. Just a 3-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Zaff weaving through traffic, and she palms the ball and stands there looking incredulously at her coach like, what did I do? And palming is not a call you see often. Most referees allow play to continue, but that's not happening. This should be the final possession of the ball game. Less than a half-second difference between shot and game clock. Harrigan Dunn lit on the basket for her as she misses a floater in tight. Zaff against Beecham. The whole gym wanted to travel, and FAU's just going to dribble out the last 10 seconds as they will come into Moore Gymnasium here in Daytona Beach and use a very strong fourth quarter to defeat Bethune-Cookman 79-62. Bethune-Cookman had a very strong first quarter and a very strong third quarter, but 25 points in the second and 26 points in the fourth mean that Florida Atlantic come out of Moore Gymnasium with a season-opening win. They have now won their season opener in each of the last 3 seasons of the Owls, as the Wildcats slip to 0-2. But we saw a lot of good things from Bethune-Cookman tonight. Obviously, Chanel Wilson led all scorers with 19 points. Is a massive high. Morgan Beecham breaking out to score 13 points. And, you know, we saw Nia Jordan break out, score 11 points. We saw the defense tighten up and make good adjustments in the second quarter. And then eventually just the length and height of FAU was too much for the Wildcats to handle. Here are your full scoring leaders rundown. First for Bethune-Cookman, Chanel Wilson had 19, Morgan Beecham 13, Nia Jordan 11, Kerrigan Dunn 7, Kayla Clark 5, Omariah Tucker 4, DeShante Edwards 3. White, Langston, and Woods all played but did not score. And for Atlantic, Maddox and Hannah both had 13, Scott and Hubbard both had 12. Rosenthal had 11, Galerón had 8, Zaff had 6, and Moore had 4. Gillard, Henshaw, and Ozawella did not play, or did play but did not score. Up next for Bethune-Cookman, they will be at Florida in 4 days' time. The next home game is against Georgia Southern on the 22nd. You can catch the action live at Moore Gymnasium or on the Cat Eye Network. We're going to take a break to reset the stream, and when we come back, it's BCU men's basketball as they take on the Conquistadors of Florida National. We'll take a break. This is BCU basketball on the Cat Eye Network.